Do you have a fear of putting yourself out there? And if so, I want you to ask yourself why. Now, what exactly is it that you're afraid of? Are you afraid that other people won't like your content? Are you afraid that you don't look good on camera, that the lighting's not good enough? Are you afraid that if you do put yourself out there, it won't be well received? And I would just pause and make a list of why are you afraid of putting yourself out there? Why are you afraid of sharing your content? Because here's what I know. Until you discover what the root fear is, you're never gonna do it. Even though you feel this calling inside of you and you have this amazing message to share and you have an audience who really needs to hear from you, you won't do it because there's this nagging fear inside of you that prevents you from living into your best self, which is actually helping people around you. It's finding your niche audience, it's sharing your story, it's getting your message out into the world because of this one fear that's holding you back. So what is it? And here's what I would guess it is. Now this is simply hypothetically my assumption here. And I go out on a limb saying assumption because I know what assumption really means. And here's what I know though, is it is probably because you're afraid of what other people will think. That they won't like it, they won't think it's good enough, and that you'll get hated on. And if you're stopping doing anything because of what someone else may think, that's the biggest problem of all, is that we're too focused on what others think and we're less focused on providing value and service. And in fact, my husband is the king of cheesy sayings, and one of his favorite saying is that it's hard to be nervous when your heart's on service. And if your heart is rooted in the right place of going, I know that there is someone out there who needs to hear from me, to hear it in the unique way that I have to say it, and that they're just waiting on my message, my story, that's the right thinking. But if you're conflicted with, but what about all those other people who won't like it? That is what you have to stop. Yes, there's going to be people who don't like what you have to say. That's just fact. There's going to be people who really are negative about what you have to say. They disagree with it. They don't like it. It gives you a thumbs down, like whatever. That's not for them. You're not for them. You're built specifically and uniquely to serve a particular audience with your unique message and your unique story. And guess what? Not everyone is going to be uniquely tied to you. And that's okay. And that's what you have to let go of. But I just know that for most of you, if you have a fear of putting yourself out there, it's because you have a fear of what other people will think. And that's the real issue here. And that's the real thing that we've got to work through is that who cares what other people think? In fact, who cares what anyone else thinks? If your heart is on service, then it's hard to be nervous. Cheesiest saying, however, it's true. It rings true on so many different levels. And so if you're not putting yourself out there, if you're not sharing your message, let me tell you what you're also doing. You're also not helping someone. You're also not being a catalyst for change in someone's life. You're also not inspiring someone, not motivating them. You're also not doing a lot of stuff because of a fear that potentially has no merit. The downside are so much greater than anything else that you have to just worry about. Like that's not the point. The point here is that your message is built for a person. And even if it's one single person and that's it, it is worth putting yourself out there to be a catalyst for change, hope, and inspiration in one person's life. So if you have a fear of what's holding you back, I just want you to pause and go, now what's my real fear? Is it that others won't like it? They won't accept it? They won't agree with it? And if that is really the root cause, then you need to sit down and focus on not who you were built not to serve, but who you were built to serve. And forget everyone else and just focus on that one person that you were built to serve and start getting your message out to them. Today, right now. Don't delay, right now. The only thing holding you back is you. So get up, get going, and start sharing your message